17th Unification Day of the GPR and NSCNU, that is Unification Group, was just celebrated here at their base camp in Kehoyi village. Now present were also the President Nyakpao Konyak, as well as the Ato Kilon Sir, Alezo Venuh, and different dignitaries and ranks and files of the group. Dignitaries from different unions, federations also attended and spoke on their union and organizations' behalf as well. During the speech of the Ato Kilon Sir, Alezo Venuh, he had said that the mushrooming of factions is still a huge cause of concern, but the silver lining is that there is clarity on who is working for the Naga nation and who is for self-enrichment in the name of the Naga movement. Now, during his speech, he has also said that Nagas should not interfere with the affairs of the Nagas of Manipur and Arunachal and vice versa as well. A separate form of government, constitution, defense, forces, foreign affairs and flag are matters incidental to a sovereign independent nation and has to be written in black and white, is what the Ato Kilon Sir Alezo Venuh has stated in his speech. Now, during a very detailed, lengthy speech, he has also spoken about if the solution does fall through and come through for the people of Nagas. He said that a separate page will be inserted into the Indian passport for Nagas to reflect on their identity. And in regard to the free movement regime, exemption will be made to the indigenous people from both sides of the border, that is Myanmar and India as well, and Nagaland, where exemption will be made in the Indian passport. Now, during the program, the Nagaland Tribes Council representative also spoke and said that enough time has been wasted and enough blood has been lost as well. Now, he has said that whatever the IM has signed during the 3rd August 1997 agreement, they should stick to it and everything must fall through. And it is because of the Nagaland political issue that Nagaland is not developing. Amongst other speakers was also the representative from the Nagaland GB Federation as well as the Naga Council Dimapur and various others. Let's have a look at today's program.
Slow! Oops. Right turn! Platoon commander, take your position.
The third platoon commander is Sergeant Major Hokuga.
Yes, platoon! Right, right!
Fourth platoon commander,
Right!
Lance Corporal Henye. And the fifth platoon commander, Corporal Chingba. Apnikan itia tika among Nagaland Idukantwe ase who are the card of the nation and also the pride of the nation.
Platoon! Eyes right! Platoon! Eyes right!
The Forum for Naga Reconciliation joins the GPR and NSCN in marking this day of abiding significance for your government. More than ever, at this moment, the Naga people are faced with mounting challenges, both from within and without. This we must reason and act together. Our historical situation is allowing Naga society squandered by cultural and political lack, and now Nagas can no longer provide our national rights to be determined according to the careless tongues of unprincipled political scammers nor domesticated individuals under the guise of national workers. The sacred Naga National Trust belongs to all the Nagas and not only to a few. FNR hopes that the Nagas will be matured enough to be more perceptive and understanding of the world around us. To save ourselves from the chasm we are staring at, we must leave behind the current personal and group policies and change the political order among the Nagas. This change has to come through the inclusive democratic process of Naga political groups and the Naga public for defining and living out the Naga nation without further delay. Nagas require transformed and competent leaders with new ideas and vision for moving ahead collectively. Seemingly divided as it looks, what binds the Naga people together is the essence of Naga nationalism, of Simon Commission, the Declaration of Naga Independence, and the Naga plebiscite. This is the hope for every individual on the land of the Nagas. Therefore, this is also a call for us to remain steadfast by embracing all Nagas without borders. The GPRN NSCN has rendered its support to the FNR for Naga reconciliation since its inception in the year 2008, and we remain grateful for this trust. It is our hope that at this time of urgency, the GPRN NSCN will be intentional, pave wider avenues, and provide the space for change to take place. God's abundant blessing to you all. Kugnalin, Forum for Naga Reconciliation.
It is said that we can make war with many, but genuine peace can be met only with honorable people. In our quest for honorable peace and political solution, let us contemplate how honorable we have been. Are we truly men of honor, desiring honorable peace and honorable political solution? In the course of our struggle for an honorable place amongst community of nations, we Nagas have missed many opportunities, confronted many uncertainties, and once again, here we are today at the cusp of taking an epoch-making decision. Or are we to fail again and consign ourselves to the regrettable pages of history? History is not just names, dates, or events, but the story of people who changed the destiny of nations. So what story are we going to script? What legacy are we going to leave behind? If our struggle had ever been about numbers, quantities, or resources, we would have been stamped out and overrun since the inception by the overwhelming, massive, and mighty forces of India and Myanmar. However, our struggle is a just struggle, a genuine aspiration of our people to live free and in peace and honor. Therefore, we cannot afford to lose grip or to lose sight of our goal. We must sincerely and seriously ask ourselves as to why and where we have failed. Let us also take a moment and search deep within ourselves and stop blaming the external forces alone. Amikan, it's almost a century now. Naga manu nijor laga mati, nijor laga manu ke bachawo koi kena amikan political struggle kriya ha. Itia American 2007 basically it was the target was to bring the two warring factions, the two warring NSCN factions. Inika Kurigana American 2007 itu din pra Unification Laga initiative loise. To in the course of our journey, the 17th years, itia duita bunawala ko to dosta NSN hoi jaise. And yet, kali failure pi nai, success story pi thakise. Amikan FNR aro GB Federation kan pra patronize guri gana, taikan pra effort di gana, aro NGO civil society so pra support guri gana, amikan naga majate, fratricidal violence, aro bloodshed to recover pari gana. Ajitak amikan, iki gorte bohiwa na parile bi, mara mari tu khotom guri gana itia amikan so, amikan laga goal tu, kinika hoi gana, honorable political solution howa lage koi gana amikan alag alag jagate bohi thakile bi sob ekta jagate jama na parle bi mon tu babna tu aro kam tu tate phane sai gana kam kori jai ase itia amikan time position ki amikan kun jagate kote pra amikan giri jai se ki nimite amikan laga goal tu ite tak realize pro na pari gana inika thaki ase amikan nijor ke hudi wole laga amikan time position ki koi gana amikan sob babna korwale laga amikan naga manukan tu national workers tu bishi ase ko ase bole bi usa prabi amikan genuine patriot aro amikan genuine revolutionary ideologue tu thakishena nai amikan sob Christian tu ko ase amikan preacher can be bishi ase, missionary can be bishi ase. Olebi amikan usa prabi true disciple of Christ. Itu discipleship to amikan takishana takanai. Amikan hi naga manhi, amikan national worker kan hi nim sim life, amikan laga style, amikan hi bodli grow na amikan laga banner, amikan laga motto Nagaland for Christ. Itu hi amikan change kro lagi wo. American nation building kurase na American nation get destroy kurase. Nijor nimite kam kurase na nijor laga life pi digena nation ke bachawo koi gena kam kurase. American itu sob kali national workers ekla no hai, civil society NGOs charges ekla no hai, public pi sob milai gena American ki pra girishe ki pra no puncha hoise ki nimite American itiatak American laga goal to target to no punchikena thaki ase amikan sob babna kori kena ami nohele nohe ami no parile manu ke pi parwole na dibo ami khawa par na kole Allah ke pi khawa na dibo ami hi 49 sitte no boile to Allah ke tu bohiwole na dibo koi kena inika amikan leaders kan workers kan pra bishi deri inika nijor nimite hi jor pra takot pra inika khara kore ahar pra naga manu tu bishi bak banga bangi ahi jaise neki itu nimite amikan bi itia inika unification day inika din te shuru kurigana itu din pra shuru kurigana amikan nijor prai no poncha nimite leaders pra no poncha nimite naga manu tu duk pasine ki koi gana amikan leaders pra dani gana amikan nim sim bodli kurigana age jaile bal hone ki koi gana tu bi babna korase amikan satan logopi isor logopi iki logo bheravo koe amikan dosman logo iki logo thali de khavo dosman logo iki logo bisna de gumao aro naga laga kam de bi ami hi malik ase koi gana ko manu bishi thaki jaise amikan bishi double standard thaki jaise etu pura amikan piche pura khan bi disorient hoi jaise public laga support bi kamti hoi jaise aro amikan laga dosman pura bi amikan ki hisab nokra bi thaki jaise bole bi it's never too late amikan pura gumjor thakile bi naga laga issue tu genuine ase amikan aji no pare kena chhar dile bi future generation pura tu pursue kuri thakibole ase etu pura apni ami laga interest tu amikan set aside kuri kena naga laga manjur future generation laga hi ki jagate rakhi dibo amikan laga priority tate set kuri kena. Itia government of India hobi, Myanmar hobi, Naga laga issue to political issue ase koi kena internationally acknowledged kuri kena thaka laga ekta issue ase. Itu pura amikan laga Naga leaders, Naga national workers, itu kan laga gunjur nimite amikan laga Naga political aspiration aro Naga struggle to amikan butnam nokro lage koi kena. Aro it is inherent in the human character that we judge people by their ability. Amikan manu laga dunia laga nimtu amikan manu ke judge kure takot pra dun sun pra nohole gao sao pra nohole number pra ole bi iso pra to invisible qualities supu pra dekhiwo na para ami khan laga monte safa asin nai ami khan mon tu sida asin nai koi kena iso pra to khali ituke sai ami khan Nagaland for Christ solemn oath lekena thakise itu pra once again kiman differences thaki kena bi ami khan martyrs khan Naga nimite sacrifice kura khan itu khan ke respect kuri kena aha laga future generation khan nimite bapna kuri kena nijor laga monjur to rakhi thaki kena iswar laga face te sai kena mon safa kuri kena mon sida kuri kena ekbar aro Naga ke bachawo nimite mon bili kena kam kuri jawo na ki koi kena amikan working committee NNPG laga nam pra sob ke salam dia ase aro khushi pra itu time loi dia ase. Thank you so much and kupnalim.
We are gathered this morning in remembrance of all the costly sacrifices that have shaped our journey towards the Naga nationhood. We remember our visionary leaders and heroes of the past, whom we, the younger generation, have come to revere as legends and martyrs. It was only through their sacrifices and uncorrupted vision which have given us this very purpose and the legacy of a Naga nationhood. Therefore, we cannot allow today to be just another fleeting moment of remembrance. But let this day be a call for each one of us to reaffirm our commitment to addressing core issues and differences and to strive for a region where peaceful coexistence is not mere concept but reality. What began as a mass Naga movement in the beginning is gradually dying a natural death. Today, we must acknowledge that our once mighty movement has now lost impetus, weakened by the pandemic of division, vested interests, and isms. In just a few years, our adversaries have not only erased the memories of our costly journey from the hearts and mind of today's generation, but they are also sparing no expense to rewrite our history by sowing discord among our tribes, regions, and among the Naga people. There are so much misconception and confusions among our political stands among the young Nagas today. And though our leaders recognize this great adversary, both foreign and within ourselves, we are unwilling to free ourselves from the shackles of our own shortfalls. It has become almost hypocritical for most of us to even preach about what is right and wrong. We have reached a point where we cannot even speak up our minds freely from or with our Nagas because we feel insecure, because we do not know which school of thought or ideology that person might be aligned with. We cannot call a spade a spade. We cannot accept criticism. Perhaps we should stop pointing fingers at one another after all. Factionism and division has corroded the very moral of the Naga people, both young and old. We cannot deny that there are divisions in our churches, within our student platforms, and civil society organizations. There are vested tribal interests, and so forth. We proclaim ourselves nation for Christ, where on Sunday we are told to love our neighbors as ourselves. But when Monday comes, again, we are divided on multiple fronts in our administration, in our halls of learning, in our justice system, and in our everyday lives. We must, each of us, acknowledge this reality and own up our shortcomings without pointing fingers at one another if we are to forge ahead as one Naga and one nation. On this note, the Naga Student Federation, as the voice and the consciousness of the younger generation, as a generation which have inherited a society tempered by war, beaten down in numbers by decades of bloodshed and violence, torn apart and segregated by territorial lines and artificial boundaries. We call for unity among the various CSOs, governments, entities, and Nagas across all walks of life, remembering that the strength of a nation lies not only in its geography, but in the hearts and mind of the Naga people. We call for peace and unity, and by that we mean peace not merely in the absence of conflict, but a state where diverse schools of thoughts coexist and collaborate for the greater good. Unity is not in the absence of differences, but accepting that the strength of each entity, tribe, and region can be held together into one diverse caravan of progress as one Naga. We also wish to iterate that the path to a dignified Naga future lies not only in the political negotiations, but also in building bridges of trust and understanding among all stakeholders and the Naga people as a whole. Together we can create a nation where every voice finds its audience, every culture is respected, where every Nagas would breathe the air of liberty and our collective potentials are fully realized. I, on behalf of the Naga Student Federation, extend heartily greetings on the occasion of 17th Naga Unification Day. May God bless us all. May God be with our leaders and all those who have dedicated our life in the service of the nation. Kuknalim, thank you.
Kota surun nukurayamde amar naga majudebi eastern side de daga sopra ito nishana tangor tin naga unification 17 naga unification day yad kuradia karuni khushipa operte apnange aman laga moram salam सबके जाने दिए से किसादे न जाबो अमी अमा खान ईस्टर्न खान एफएनडी तो चीले कारुनी जैसे गुले अपना सब जाने ऐसे अमा खान नागा पॉलिटिकल दे हाथ न छोए काम घुरी जाबो कारुनी पृथ्वी दे खोल लागे स्पेस ते जाए ऐसे पृथ्वी का अमान भी दिखाबरा दिबो लागे पृथ्वी ते की लागे ऐसे इतो कारुनी अमान इसकन अमान एक लाइन होए अमार नाका नेशनल वर्ड्स कन भी बिलाइबले कुथा कुरा इतो कन सब आके जाबो कारुनी तो पृथ्वी ते अरो अमार नागा खान थाका जगह दे शांति थाइबो लागे इतो कारुनी अमा सब मिलाय बिले बिसिबार कोथा कुरिएसे 2 नंबर दे नाम ब्राही न होय किंतु नागा मानु मन मिलाय बिले काम एकता होय बिले भावना एकता होइबले हुरी जायले ही भावना बुंछबो अमान लागा आके काम की आसे इतो कारुनी अमा लागा स्थान तो इदो आसे अमा खान एकला भावना कुरा न होय दो ENBO is from grassroots level अमान organization तो नागा नेशनल लागा काम दे किमान कोबाल पिया ग्रुप पिसो जैसे अमा खान फैक्शन पिछो जैसे किंतु अमान नचारी बिले आके किना खुरी जाबो पब्लिक किना शांति ते थाइबो इतो कारुनी আমাৰ মিলাইবলি কাম কৰি যা লাগা আজিবি আমাৰ ইএনবিঅ পৰা ইটো হি আপিল কৰিব মন আছে আৰু কাম কৰিব লাগে আমাৰ খান একটা হইলেহি আজেতে কাম কৰি যাতে ঈশ্বৰ পৰা বি আমাকে ব্লেছিং দিব নহলে ভাবনা আলাপ কথা আলাপ হইলে তো আমার ব্লেছিং নাপাব নাকি আজি ইটো নিচিনা 17 Naga Unification Day celebration পুরা 3 day একটা গ্রুপই নহয় আমার সিভিল সোসাইটি খান বি সব মিলাই বলে নিজের কেপিসিটি পৰা নাম প্রায় নয় বলে নাগা লাগা ভাবনা তো কিনকা পৌঁছাব ইটো সব মানুষ মতব করি বলে মন একটা হই বলে কাম কৰি যাইলে ঈশ্বৰ পৰা বি মাগি মতব কৰিব আৰু তাদেহি ৰাস্তা আছে ইটো কাৰণে আজি আমাৰ ইষ্টন ইএনবিঅ পৰা ডাঙৰ দিন 17 Naga Unification Din celebration pura hisab de isi deri na jai bile kali persung to ahibo din de to Naga bile ko to sab milai bile ito pura bhi tangor jaga de mon milai bile kam ekta bile bhavna puncho bani akha pura achi apna lokate appeal kure se thank you.
We all know Nagas are free peoples, and the world knows Nagas are free peoples, and we have every right to be free. So we did not discuss about this. But what we need today is we are lacking unity. For example, taking from Naga Council, Dimapur, we are truly maintaining the unity of the Nagas. We have 20 tribes. We have 4 prominent Dimapur-based civil societies with us. We are working together with understanding and respect. So I want our Naga brothers and especially our freedom fighters to take example from us to work together as one force and one body. Today, Nagas are looking for unity. Indian leaders can be guasedo. Naga manutu unite kurbo lage. Etai kan mon pura guasana lip service ase itu to we don't know. Ole be unite kurubi guato hole itu to bian hoito. That is good thing. They are asking Nagas to get unite. Itu to biya kotha no hoito. So আমি kan unite kurubole. Hesitate kurubo na lage. We are all Christians. So we should learn how to forgive and forget each other. And this platform, this area, this place should be the place where strong unity should start. Because your nomenclature itself says it's a unification. So unification should start from this place. আমি খান ইউনিফিকেশন আছে কই কেন আমি খান disunity start হইলে নহব তো আমি খান লাগা প্রপাগান্ডা এজেন্ডা আর তো আমি খান লাগা অ্যাকশন আলাদা হইলে তো নহব এটা নিমিতে আমি খান ইউনাইট করবলে কোশিশ করব লাগে বলে that is the appeal from our Naga peoples. Second point to alag aside. We are working for the Naga peoples. Our freedom fighters, you are sacrificing your whole life for our peoples, to save us, to protect us. But one sad thing I wanted to share with you. Since I being from the Dimapur cosmopolitan commercial hub, we are receiving so many complaints, so many good things and bad things we are receiving every day. And we are working for those peoples as an apex body, apex organization of their commercial hub. Amikhansuk Bajakhanase. We have sons and daughters. We are giving them education. So we have to start their life. Keep start kurbo. Thousands of Naga boys and girls are coming out, passing out from their different colleges and universities. Government, state government cannot give them white collar job. They are hardly observing, giving them job hardly 100 or 200. Only 1,000 to go job. They have to go for business. Business job lagibo. Many peoples, many boys and girls, they are very determined to run the self-employed service kurbole. I mean business kurbole tatijay. Only one set thing I can complain receive crowd to kiasa. Itu kan so Baba kan to parents comes to don't man hoito. So they are taking bank loan. Bank loan like in a business Australia say. One fellow he came to us. Yes sir. I'm parents to I'm sponsor kurban ore. So I took loan, 5 lakhs loan from the bank. I started my business. Holibi, ita initial stage ase income to 1,000 per day, 1,000, 2,000 ulase. Holibi after starting my business, tax manga to 20 plus fraction hi tax mangshe. Tita kunuba 1,000 mangase, kunuba 5,000 mangase, kunuba 10,000 mangase. Tita ami laga earning to 1,000 ase, 2,000 ase, kot pride bo. Ami thar guru ke ne tu khan ke di thai bone ki. Aur ami laga loan pe recover kurbo nora ita ekdom problem ke ase itu issue khan to hole take up kuri dibo lage bile inika aishe. Tinika bisha ase de. Ami khan to Naga mano public khan baja khan nimte khali itu nimti kwa nai to. Freedom fighters, you have your children, ministers and MLAs, officers, civil society, Kam Kurakan, you all have your own sons and daughters. You have given them education, but where? Education, Chinese proverb, if you plan for century, give them education, give the education to your children. Whatever education that we have to start, they have to start their life. Whatever I can start, I'm can kalti dile kinika uchibo. Itu karni. I'm NSN, you khali itu kan luko kwa naide. I'm speaking in general. Faction kimana sa Nagaland. So itu huni bole kwa ase. So nimiti kwa ase. Khali public laga baja khan hoye apni khan laga baja khan ka ase and we are speaking and we are fighting for all the Naga upcoming generations. So Naga Council Dimapur, it is not yet declared, but we have made road for upcoming Naga generation to protect them, to protect their business, so that Itu kan hi bahal hoa piche hi ami kan society to smooth hobo. Economically ami kan sound hobo lake. Economy sound hoile you are independent. But when your economy is not sound, antisocial elements hi bishi ulai jabo. Itu karni ami kan kita itu rock me baibo, kita itu program ahibo. That time we are reaching all the factions when this program comes up. Itu nimiti. Ita pre information has sob itu monte rakikena. Ami kan laga duty to protect the younger generation, upcoming generation. Itu kan ke protect di kena, dai kan ke uchigo dile naga economy to hole ini uchigo lase. Itu nimiti. With these few words, I, on behalf of the Naga Council, share our program and our opinion. So with this, I thank you all once again. Kuknalim.
At the very outset, I give all glory and honor to our living God, the creator of Nagaland and its people. Respected His Excellency General Richard M.B. Nekpao Kunyak, President of the GPN and NSCN, distinguished Naga revolutionary leaders, esteemed Naga civil society leaders, anointed members of the clergy, respected village guardians, headmen and elders, ladies and gentlemen, as we commemorate 17th year of Naga unification, I extend my warm greetings and welcome everyone assembled here. Friends, in the revolutionary history of Naga nationalism, the past 17 years of the GPN and NSN unification is a chapter to be inscribed in special letters, because even in the midst of chaos and brutal facridical acts, GPN and NSN has stood tall, celebrating each year the rebirth of Naga consciousness, reconciliation and unity among Naga political groups. We have played important role with our partners in the working committee and in PGs. We had political negotiations with government of India and successfully concluded the talks. GPR and NSN has always been very active to the idea of genuine Naga unity and reconciliation organized by the Church, FNR, and Apex tribal bodies. Standing here before you, I confidently say that GPR and NSCN exist to fulfill the hope of the Naga fraternity for a stable geopolitical territory where the Nagas and non-Nagas within and around will coexist in perfect harmony and move shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the world. The word insurgency no longer denotes to Naga political issue. In the agreed position, the phrase political and historical rights of the Nagas has replaced all abominable terms which demean the Nagas and their just struggle. The entities have negotiated and focused on the administrative and political considerations, among others. GOI has acknowledged the universal principle of the right to self-determination of the peoples and nations, and Nagas too must consider the political realities of the day. This understanding is the key and focal point. The Naga legitimacy through agreed position is absolutely clear in the considerations of India and Indian and South Asian conflict scenarios. As we have taken up the matters, the regional and global perception too will change. It underlines the need for a new political synthesis and philosophy. A people struggle and conflict stage long for sovereign independent nationhood always has historical and political basis. GOI has acknowledged it. Mahatma Gandhi, on the eve of Indians' independence, was absolutely clear about the right of the Nagas. This truth cannot be erased by any goodwill gesture. We base our argument on facts of history. A new foundation has to emerge in order to create powerful vision for the future. The present arrangement cannot sustain. Nagas are drawn in the whirlpool of social, economic, and political liabilities and impoverishment, dance into the tune of others. This has to change. The Naga youth today need institutions to achieve self-reliance with an effective, self-sustainable fiscal business and management regimen, acquire professional excellence in technological and managerial education. Our planning and delivering systems should rely on techno-economic forecasting models to create a world of our own. Social and political awareness and the right to reciprocate and react to matters of public concern should be guaranteed through a fair political environment. 17 years ago prior to that, Naga intelligentsia and the societal institution was much fragmented, which led to the divide among the principal actors in the revolutionary movement. Individualistic and personal agendas could not sustain Naga movement, and so a genuine unity movement was necessitated, which led to the formation of NSN Unification, which was declared on 22nd November 2007. Mushrooming faction is still a huge cause of concern, but the silver lining is that there is clarity on who is working for Naga Nation and who is self-enrichment in the name of Naga movement. Every national worker must understand that seniority, position, and status gain over the year is to strengthen the resolve and commitment to serve the nation, not build own castle and threaten our benefactors. Failure to follow this revolutionary principle will eventually force the people to face out selfish and inconsiderate leaders. Dear friends, from 2017 onward, with the formation of Working Committee and NPGs, a huge responsibility was given to me to coordinate with various groups, governments, and the concerned in the Union of India. As we sat across the table, we could get a clear picture of what had been going till then. Negotiation table cannot be taken as a platform to argue, debate, or give lecture on history every time. Neither is it a platform to break, threaten others with international connections and what political and military damage one could inflict upon India. A principled historical stand, putting forth people's practical demand, will, and desire on the negotiating table is a higher degree of political immaturity and commitment at this hour. Former GOI interlocutor Mr. R.N. Ravi declared to Working Committee delegation that he will accept anything in writing form and that all matters of negotiations would be done on the table verbally. It was a rude shock. We insisted we wanted everything to be put on record, to which the interlocutor said it is for the government of India to decide, since others, probably referring to NSCN-IM, were in a habit of conducting negotiations unrecorded and in verbal mood. Working Committee and NPGs had to stress for a healthy deliberations on all issues, very confrontative at times, but eventually the talks evolved and everything was officially put on record for reference and clarification in future. The political rights of the Nagas were addressed to be taken in totality, right from the unwritten periods of oral traditions, memorandum, to the Simon Commission, to the ceasefire agreement of 6 September 1964, to 6 rounds of negotiation that started in 7 October 1967, taken to be among the holistic historicity of the Nagas. In the eyes of the GOI, the only binding agreement in the considerations was the 16-point agreement, which the Working Committee and NPGs outrightly rejected. The government of India refused to accept the 1951 plebiscite on the grounds of technicalities. But for the Nagas, it denotes the will and determination and a turning point in their history. The holistic history of the Nagas, both written and unwritten, needed the absolute recognition together with the history of Indo-Naga wars. After 40 Nagas 1947. This is specifically inscribed in the agreed position of 17 November 2017. The government of India recognizes the historical and political rights of the Nagas to self-determine their future in consonance with their distinct identity. Thus, a new beginning was set into motion. We had to do it systematically without affecting the integrity and political configuration of India as well. Therefore, a relationship that is honorable, enduring, and an inclusive, peaceful coexistence with due regard to contemporary political realities was acknowledged as practical route. We are thankful to the prominent political observers, intellectuals, legal luminaries from Nagaland and mainstream India, including the former judges of the Supreme Court of India, our senior administrative cadres, political leaders, former legislators, retired bureaucrats, tribal leadership, NGBF, Student Federation, and civil society members for shaping the status paper and agenda for political negotiations in accordance with the agreed position. It runs into volumes and will be printed and documented for academic and political purposes. Each and every subject deliberated and amended are in the records. Before sitting across the table for negotiations, we had to look at the political and institutional structure of India, how the entire system works, the political philosophies, policy making, and integrated functioning of the constitutional mechanism that drives the entire apparatus of India. A strong bureaucracy and a judicial system with an extensive political systems are a core of nation's asset at the negotiation table. We may see only the GOI interlocutor or a representative, but what holds him and surmounts he is to be understood. The GOI and the NSCM and IM talks and the framework agreement appear to be a non-disclosure documents, or rather undocumented parleys. Negotiations from 1997 to 2015 had failed to do justice to the Naga political issue. Everyone was shrouded to mystery save for a single-page framework agreement. Against this background, what was left before NNPGs was to create a carefully devised alternative to counter every stand of the government of India on the matter of political integration, alternative mechanism of amalgamation on matters excluding legislative domains, cultural integration, and other ways were deliberated. Integration is all about merger of other Naga areas with Nagaland. It involves several political processes and resolving several conflicts. Naga areas of Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh have several complications on their own. Most of these areas are backward with no infrastructure and connectivity, and other increments of development are yet to reach these areas. It needs much planning and economic growth levels to bring in economic integration. Towards this, the first step had to be separation of administration and legislature by creating new statutory bodies. Meanwhile, other sentimental and emotional issues and matters confronting other tribes within and adjoining areas have to be settled. To step into such a process, territorial councils for Naga areas of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam has been agreed into the settled position between Government of India and NNPGs. We do not accept the sixth schedule of the Constitution of India, and the reasons have been made clear why the territorial councils need a separate political structure that is not linked in any manner with that of Autonomous Council. Nagaland state was formed through a systematic process that took time. Naga People's Convention in August 1957 adopted the resolution for forming a separate administrative area by merging the Naga Hill District then under Assam and the Twins and Frontier Division of NEFA. This resolution was accepted by the Government of India through the NSTA Act in 1957. The Government of India itself created the new administrative area of Naga Hills Twinsan area. The 16-point agreement was signed 3 years later in 1960. The constitution was commanded to create a state in 1962. Nagaland became a reality in 1963. To form Nagaland, then in the 1950s, it took over 6 years. Naga integration is our people's legitimate right. Unfortunately, this is now a mere slogan to buy political relevance and create false hope. Had there been genuine political will and effort with proper system and structure, 27 years back, integration would have been a reality by now. Nothing happens instantly at the stroke of a pen. Officially on status paper of the GOI and Working Committee and NPGs, the Government of India has agreed to constitute a high-power empowered committee as per the agreed positions so as to work out the traditional boundaries of the Naga areas. Today, the process of integration of the Naga areas has been set into motion. We feel the sense of belonging, dedication, and commitment to our ancestral lands. It is also a reality that Nagaland belongs to the 17 indigenous Naga tribes and indigenous non-Naga tribes and settlers as on 1st December 1963. Any matter on the political or customary affairs of these 17 Naga tribes will be decided by mutual understanding within themselves. Nagas of Nagaland cannot interfere or decide on the affairs of the Nagas of Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh. In the same way, our customary system prohibits intervention of other Naga tribes from Manipur or Arunachal Pradesh intervening in our political rights or customary matter. We must avoid irritation, intrusion, or coercion on land economy or governance. Our history and culture taught us to express brotherhood and solidarity during testing times. A separate form of government, constitution, defense forces, foreign affairs, flag are matters incidental to a sovereign independent nation. Such a political consideration of sovereign independent nation has to be written in black and white in any text of agreement. It was the toughest task for NNPGs to undo the damages done earlier in the agreement, so stated to have been made on 3rd of August 2015. The self-determination of the Nagas lies in the Naga identity. Absolute control over the land, its resources, customary laws, practices, and procedures. The sovereign power of the Nagas remains vested in the independent federal system of villages and territories of each Naga tribe. Therefore, a clear separation of the legislative powers from that of the Parliament of India has to be the first step towards achieving the vision of Naga nation. Towards this, the negotiation had led to the establishment of an appropriate legislative system in Nagaland. The bicameral legislature of Tatar Hoho will have an upper house of the Naga customary system called the Nagaland Federal Hoho and the democratically elected lower house called Lesi Hoho. This would be the appropriate legislature for all the matters that concerns the affairs of the Nagas. Nagas will have an insignia and Naga flag will be a part of the customary system of the Nagas. A separate page will be inserted in the Indian passport for the Nagas to reflect our identity on the free movement regime, FMR. Exemption will be made on the Indian passport for the indigenous people on both sides of the Indo-Myanmar border. The 1962 Indo-Myanmar border agreement can be reviewed by the Nagaland Tatar Hoho. In the present scenario, Nagas must put our heads together and deliberate. We must retrieve our historical and political rights through an effective political mechanism. Friends, we all know the principles and objective of NSCN unification was well laid on 22nd of November 2007 at the Ovisha Village Conclave under Newland District. The trust agreement signed between the then Kilonser of NSNK, Mr. Sesin Son, and the Kilonser of NSNIM, Mr. Ajeto Chopi, has withstood the test of time. The scope to create a wider platform to negotiate with Government of India became a reality with the formation of NSN Unification. We are stepping into the second quarter of the 21st century. Naga society has undergone a series of socio-political transition during the past 2 centuries. 19th century marked the beginning of external interventions, conflicts, and getting adapted to the contemporary administrative and political systems. Christianity as a religion and Christian mood of education entered the Naga society and consciousness. Dear friends, the Naga revolutionary movement was set into motion in order to achieve the objectives of absolute sovereignty and to emerge as a full-fledged nation of the Nagas. The ceasefire agreement of 1964 and the negotiation with Mrs. Indira Gandhi stands as a milestone in the whole political scenario where the negotiation reached the status of a protectorate nation like Bhutan. In 1967, India was still in the days of political infancy and reorganization of the states was not complete. 3 decades later, by 1997, when the NSA and IM entered into the ceasefire agreement, India had become a powerful country with a global standing. The ceasefire agreement, when it was signed abroad, failed to include the required parameters, including third country mediation, intervention of international organizations so as to achieve the objective of Naga nationalism. The Amsterdam Communique II could not set the agenda for negotiated settlement on integration of Naga areas and absolute sovereignty. The 3rd August 2015 made the Naga political issue an internal matter of the Government of India. This is a fact. The Government of India and NSN IM deliberated the signing of the framework agreement with the Prime Minister Modi, Home Minister NSA, Deputy NSA, the interlocutor and the core of NSN IM leadership did attend the ceremony to celebrate granting Naga integration, Naga flag, and Naga constitution outside the Union of India. Explaining 100 times wouldn't give you an answer. Soon after, the people of Nagaland heard utterances like Nagaland will cease to exist. Mistakes committed by anyone in the process must be admitted. Naga integration has to begin from the heart, not forced or dictated. Attitudes of dictatorship and domination will not pay dividends in a political initiative. I pray and hope that a new, vibrant, harmonious, peaceful time will dawn on the Naga people. I assure and guarantee our people that the GPRNS and unification will walk that extra mile to forge an enduring partnership with all Naga entities and leaders willing to forego personal ambitions. We must return to our roots and live by revolutionary ethics. Naga revolutionary leaders cannot act like fraudulent gold prospectors or property developers. In doing so, one will only attract and entice habitual thefts, scoundrels, social outcasts, and restless mercenaries, while driving away genuine and committed national workers. Once again, I thank you all for your presence and patient hearing. God bless us all. Kuk Nalim.